Hey everybody. Well, today we're going to be on the 31. In this episode, we'll be back on the 31. And just so you guys know, you probably figured out by now that I am not technologically skilled, I guess is what you call it. So I have worked a couple of days on the 31 since the last video, and I started to edit all of that video, and somehow I deleted all that video. So I did a couple of days worth of work, and y'all aren't gonna be able to see that work because I'm a dummy and I don't know what I did. So we're gonna get back on the 31. Let me show you real quick. Let me show you real quick what I did manage to get done. First off, got the temperature sending unit in, got it wired up. What you didn't get to see me have so much fun with is the oil sending unit down here. I had to put down here because it wouldn't fit back behind the intake. Because there wasn't enough room, and if I put a little extension nipple on it to get it up, it hit the distributor right here. So that was a pain, and I had to fight that to get all that done. But I got it all wired in. So that's wired up and in. So everything on the front side is wired up and in. The next thing that I did manage to get done was, I think I built this panel, and I bead rolled it, and my bead roll's not perfect. I kind of waved on it a little bit there, but I built a panel on this side and a panel on the other side over there, and I'll walk over there and show you. But this is the radio. Got the radio installed. This is the switch to turn the electric fan on and override the thermostatic switch up front. And this is a charging port right here. It's pretty cool. And it's got a voltmeter in it also. And I don't remember if I had found the vents in the last video or not, but I found those. I got those in, cleaned up. So all of this is wired up and wired in. The speaker wires are right here for the stereo, and when I get the other set of speakers he's ordered and got in, I have one set of speakers, but I need to build the panels to mount the speakers in and all that. So but all this is wired up, wired in, and then this yellow wire is the power window wiring, and I've hooked it up over there. I had to splice it in. Let me go to this side, and I haven't heat shrunk this yet, because I wanted to make sure I had everything set up before I heat shrink that in place in case I needed to change something. But this is the power wire for the power windows, and this goes to the power windows on the driver's side, and then it runs to the other side to do the power windows on the other side. So I got all that done. Oh wait, let me show you the panel on this other side. So here's the panel that I made on the other side, and it will block out a lot of what's underneath that you could see. Like this, it doesn't show this ignition switch is bad. You can't see the coil and all that stuff now just by looking in the vehicle. I got the tack mounted. I got it all wired in, so that's done. So all the wiring's done for that. And I can't remember the last video or this video, I put the steering wheel in. So all of that's done. So now I'm going to work on the power windows, and here's the switch, and as you can see the wires aren't in that great a shape, so I'm going to have to redo a bunch of that. This will mount in here somehow, and it's a little tighter on the other side. It's got a mounting hole right there, and so I'm going to have to make some kind of something to hold that in position. But I also have to run these wires on the other side. I think I ran them through this direction and down. So let's go look over there, because that's the one I was working on originally. So here's where we are at so far. I put 2 new connectors on the bottom down here. This was in a plug. Hang on, let me get the plug. This was in a plug like this, but the ears are broke off on, I think it's this side, inside there, and the connectors didn't want to stay in the plug. So I just got this stuck together right now because I was checking the switch and everything out and running the wire and trying to see what length wire I needed for what. This is the ground, so I got to get a piece of black wire here and hook to this and run it up through this hole and through this hole, and then I'll ground it up on the other side over there. And then I'm going to have to extend this wire out, so I'm going to cut these old connectors off and add a piece of wire, because I want these to come down, and I'm going to drill some holes in this bracket right here to zip tie these wires to keep them out of the way and keep them safe from getting caught up in the window or anything like that. But this wire is too short, so I want to run it down underneath and around, so I got to extend that. So at the moment, that's where I'm at. I'm sorry you don't get to see me build this panel, and it wasn't real hard. There's a flange piece behind it. It's a 90-degree flange piece that it attaches. Let me go to the back side and show you. I don't know if you can see it, but this support bar right here runs all the way across, and you can see it's a big heavy piece of angle iron. So the flange piece I screwed up, and there's the screws I screwed up through the bottom to attach the flange, and then come to the front. That flange piece comes this way and then flanges down this way, and then this panel screws into that flange piece. I did that on both sides, and then I had to cut the holes for these, the radio and the switches to fit through, and then mount that. And I have the radio wired in except for the speakers, so if I turned it on, we wouldn't be able to listen to anything when I get power to it. So I'm going to pick up right now on fixing the wiring up the power windows and making a piece for the window switch to make sure it stays in place. I'm going to have to fab up something. Same thing on the other side. I got to do that, and then I have to pull the wires for the battery. I have to pull the cables for the battery from the back to the front, and I have to hook up the starter and install the starter. So this video is probably not going to be that long, since I screwed that up and deleted inadvertently, and I really don't know exactly how I managed to do it, but I did. And so sorry y'all missed all that, but it's done. I think it looks decent, and I think it looks good. I hope he likes it. Mark, if you don't like it, well, it's going to kind of be just tough. So so I really hope you like it. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. So stick around a minute with me, and let me get this hooked up, and then we'll see how this turns out over on this side. because I'm going to build a door panel, and I'm going to do some bead rolling to make a panel for these doors and for the quarter inside of the quarter panels, and that'll be later. But like I said, my bead rolling skills aren't great. I can't even say they're good. I'm still really trying to learn and just, you know, figure out how to bead roll better. And my problem is I'm just really not steady. And I have figured out that steady is a good thing when you're bead rolling, and I'm not there. So, but anyway, let me quit rambling. Stick with me, and we'll see about getting these doors, these power windows wired up, and getting the rest of the little bit of wiring that's left, getting that done, and we'll finish up with all the wiring, and better put power to this thing for too much longer. So I'll be right back. All right. One thing I want to tell you guys, thank you very much for coming back. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I appreciate it. If you're a first timer, hey, please hit that subscribe button. If and the like button if you like my content. And if you're a returning watcher, again, thank you very much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I'm humbled by everybody that will watch me and make all my mess ups like I did with the video. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming back. And if you like it, if you'd hit the like button, I would appreciate it. Supposedly it helps my algorithm. I don't know. Like I said, I'm so frustrated because I'm not technologically, I don't know, capable, I guess. I'm struggling. And I don't know if I'll ever get this stuff down. But hey, all you can do is try. So I try, and hopefully I'll get there one day where I quit messing up, because like I said, it was 2 solid days of video. It was 2 days of video of me making panels and installing stuff and work that I did that I was hoping to have you guys enjoy. And no, it's not going to happen now. Let's see, I need to make sure this is going to come through here and go up here and ground. Okay, so I need that right there. So again, I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful New Year. Yeah, we had a great New Year. We really did. What is up with this? I know, you guys are saying, that's supposed to be the blue one. But the metal in here is the same, it's just the hole is different on these, so it'll carry the same load, but I have more of these pink ones than I do the blue ones. So guess what? I'm going to use these. Let's see. Okay, I need to run this back here. Like so. And this is going to go up through here. Oh, good. I just got to thinking about if that was going to work or not, because I put this end on it and I didn't know if that was going to go through the hole, but hey, it managed to go through the hole. And yeah, I still got to shrink them. I still got to shrink them up, but make sure that's going to run through there. So that's like that. All right. So I did not tighten these up all the way. because I need to make this. I think these will be long enough for what I want to do. Oh, I need to go ahead and do the shrink-a-dink thing on these. Let me grab the heat gun. I'll go ahead and do this. Okay. So that. Okay. Let's run this through here. Well, this through here. Okay. I think I can go ahead and tighten that down. Let's see. Okay, that's tight. And let me show you. Let me get this fixed first, and then I'll show you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to put, and I'm going to make this, I think I'm going to make it connect on both sides. Maybe that doesn't make any sense, but that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I guess a union would be better though, wouldn't it? Put a union on this side and a connector on that end. Yeah, that would be better, I think. I think that would probably be more better. And this is some of that excess wire. What was this off of? This was the excess wire to an electric fuel pump that I cut off to use. That ought to be plenty. Yeah, that ought to be plenty. So I sit on this harness. Hang on to stuff like that. That way it covers this metal part right here and it won't chafe that wire. You know, and I'm sure you guys watching, there's probably better ways to do this. But at the moment, I don't know of any other better way. So if y'all are screaming at me, saying, look, dummy, do it this way, I wish I could hear you, because I'm sure there's a better way than the way I'm doing it. Right there, let me get my knife. Sure, I'm glad I sharpened my knife the other day. That made it a lot easier. Okay, that's going to be there. That's going to be there. That's going to hold right there. Okay. So now I need to wrap that up tight. And that's not enough room to get that other roll in there. I want to drill a hole right here to make sure that stays secure right there. Let's see, where's my drill? All right, let me hook up the power probe real quick. Here's my ground. So let's do the ground right there. So now, I put power to that. That's clear, that's clear. That's all clear down there. Looks good. Okay, let's roll it back up. Okay. That looks good. All right, that cleans all that up. Now I need to run me a little piece of something. Let's see if I have a not sure. Let's see how this works. Not sure this is going to work like I want it to or not. I think that will work. Let's tell you what, where's my pipe? Let me roll the window down where I can see inside. Look at that when that closes and see. It still looks like it needs to. Almost pinched my hand, my finger in there. Okay. All right, well, that opens and closes fine. Let's go wire the other side up. That way I can get all the wiring done and out of the way. So stick with me just a minute. Let me move the other side. Okay, well, this side is kind of a mess. Just wires twisted together. So this is, let's see. I think, let's see if I remember, this is my ground and this is my power feed. Let me go double check the other side and make sure which one goes where. Okay. The ground came off of this. My power feed right there. Okay, let's double check. This should be ground. This should be power. Yeah. Okay, where's my switch? See if I can work all this with one hand. Okay. All right, that tells me that. Okay. So, this yellow one here is ground. This is my main power feed. I need to fix that. Let's see if I can get that off of there. I don't have a 5/16 small enough to hold that nut. Let's see if I back that out a little bit. Can I get that in there? There we go. That's what I needed right there. Come on, come off of there. That bar is just right in my way. That's my main power. That's power to the switch. I don't like that connection. I have to fix that. Now let me put this back in. Okay, this big conglomeration of wires here. Pretty sure I've got to extend this one out too. Ow. Okay. Let's see. Plug right there. All right, let's see. I need to run this way. Run those that way. Tell you what else I need to do. I need to straighten this piece of lip right here out some to let that wire smooth by there easily. So that can come down through there. You know what? I need to trim that. Hang on. Let me test fit it first. It's gonna have to go. This is kind of an absolute mess right here. Boy, they just hacked this door up. I gotta make a piece. Maybe that's threaded back there. I need to make a piece that'll cover this, that'll screw in and hold that in position. I need to cut that. Then because I'm going to make a piece to go over that. What a mess. What a mess that right there is. Wow, hang on. did that all wrong. This is what happens when you get in a rush, when you're trying to get stuff done quickly. I just... why I don't think about it a little more. All right, well, let me move this out my way. This is not, wait, is it not this one? This one. It comes from the switch and goes to the motor over here. It is not long enough, so I got to splice that. I'm gonna splice it back just a little bit here. I think this will, that piece will be long enough. What did I do to this thing? Oh, I popped a circuit breaker. Huh. Did I wire something up wrong? What did I do? That to that. Ground to that. Power to that. That should work. Okay. Red to red, yellow to yellow. That goes out to my ground. Oh, let me make sure I didn't hook something up wrong. Yellow is grounded. What happened? So that's going out to my ground. I wonder if I hooked it up to the wrong one. Okay, well, I guess I'm cutting this loose to check it all out. I know I'm right on that. That should be right. That's hooked up to that. Going back to the switch. That yellow coming off of there should go to the ground. What is wrong? Okay. Maybe some of you guys can tell me. Maybe I can figure it. I don't know. I'll show you. It shorted out on me. You know, it popped this. So I took it apart and I know it was right. But so this is the ground that goes to the switch. And I put the power to it over here. And it, oops, y'all saw it didn't work before. And it works. When I hook this ground that's grounded to the body, and I hook this battery ground, which this is hooked to the battery, and I hook it to that, and these are hooked together, it grounds it out. I don't understand, because this is the same ground I'm using there. But it did it on both sides. I went and checked the other side because I hadn't put the ground, I hadn't attached the ground to the body. And I ended up doing that off camera when I was moving everything over to this side. So I went and checked it. It was showing the same thing. It was showing it was locked up negative. It was grounded out. So I took the ground loose on the other side and did it this way, and it works. I don't understand. I really don't. And I'm really confused, and I'm really aggravated, and I don't know, because you do that and you do this and you make a contact. Damn it. And it works. But if I hook these two grounds together, watch, I'm going to show you. But if I take this, which is grounded to the body, I don't know, is it double grounding it? I don't know. Hang on, let me make this long enough so I can twist that together. So if I twist that ground back together, okay, now watch. See, it tells me it's grounded out now. Or is it? I don't have this grounded to nothing. Is it creating a ground? No. See, it's not creating anything. But if I hook the battery, which like I said, this power probe is hooked to the positive and negative on the battery. So if I run that and ground, so that should be grounding the battery to the chassis, which this is grounded to. And I put this on here, it shows me it's grounded out. That's why when I put the power to it, it tripped this power probe. Because it will not work. It's grounded. It's not doing. So that absolutely makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why? Because I know it's wired right. And if I take this loose and I put this ground right there, which should be the same exact thing, and I put power to it, you see that? Now, that's got me continuity, and now it works. Okay? I don't understand. I really just don't understand. Because when I got this car, this ground wire, which I spliced in right here, goes up and grounds to the body. And I really don't understand. I'm confused and I'm aggravated. Because I'm not a wiring guru. I said it, I'm not a wiring guru, but that makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. So let me see if I can, let me Google it. How about that? Let me Google it. I'll be right back. All right, it's the next day. And what I have figured out is this motor, well, both sides actually, both motors, when you ground the chassis, the motor itself grounds. I don't know if there's supposed to be an isolator in there. Like I said, I got this thing in pieces like it is and trying to get it back together and back on the road. So I don't know if somebody's taking this thing apart or not. The wires were a mess already, but I don't know if somebody tried to take it apart on both sides, if there's supposed to be an isolator between the motor and the metal. I don't know. So what I'm gonna try and do, I think, let me, I hope I can pull these apart since I sealed them. That's what I was saying about, there's that one. I don't know if I can get this one apart or not. Maybe I don't have to take it apart. I'm going to see if I can pull the motor out and see if there's supposed to be an isolator, because I can't see behind it. I think this is like a 68 to 70 Torino Cougar Thunderbird power window motor setup, I think, because this has obviously been fabricated to go in here. So let me see if I can get, I don't know if I got a socket here that'll work on that yet. Hey, that works. Let me see if I can get this motor pulled out. Well, that's the wrong size for that wrench. What I got over here, that's too big. I may have to go get a socket. And I said this the other day, I need to clean my damn mess up, because I have got a mess. But I do have the right size socket right there. And maybe this will make it quicker. What did I do with my... Oh. Look at that. That's... That's a different size. That's a 3/8, I think. What is that? I got a 5/16 right here. Is that what that is? Wow, that's what that is. Well, I can maybe solve that problem too. Look at me throw my dead gun thing on the floor. Well, what am I missing? Am I got to take this whole thing out of here? Which I really don't want to do. Let's see. It's got to go better today than it did yesterday. This is going to be a long process if I can't get this screwdriver to work, because it's about stripped out. It's like locked into place. I got a fix for you. Hey, the motor came out. All right, put my glasses on. Man, this thing is nasty. I don't feel any kind of isolator on there. Okay, let's hook this all back up. Where's my... Get this out of my way real quick. Like that. All right. Hook my power probe up. Hook these two back together. Put that right there. Wait, no, I need to put that right there. Okay. Take the ground from my power probe and ground the chassis. I'm gonna put power right here. Okay. So what's different? Got my negative there. Okay, there we go. What did I get on here? Getting the okay, why did that work just then? See now, let's see. What if I ground this and I go to there? don't have enough hands. Okay, what's the deal? I got ground there. Have I ever told you guys that I hate wiring? I might have said that once or twice. I don't know. But I do. I hate wiring. Okay, I've got to shut down and just clean my damn mess up. Set this up here where I can see everything. Okay, maybe that'll help me hold it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So, I got my ground connected to the battery. So if I do this, see, it's not showing the ground. Do that, it's working. Okay, so that should work the same if I hook it right there, ground it to the body, and that works. Okay. So to me, what that's telling me is the body of the window motor, get out of my way, is grounding out against the frame of the window track thingy. So how do I keep that from doing that? What is it grounding out against? So that fits in there. But it grounds up through here. When you ground the housing out, it grounds the whole system. How do I isolate that? Are there any suggestions? Because I think that, see, there's two little ears that's sticking out right there, and I can't tell if that right there is touching on the other side, because it sure seems like it would be touching. I wonder if I get two little washers, two little rubber washer things, and put right here. And it is a Ford. It is a Ford. I was right. It's a Ford motor. It is a Ford. And it's got to be. I could run that number right there and find out. But that's what it looks like. It looks 68 to 70 Torino. So that's some numbers on the housing. So somehow I have to isolate. This from that. Is the only thing I can figure. Let me see if I can take this off. That does not want to come off of there, and I don't want to force it off of there. Oh, there we go. Trying to figure out if that's metal or... Ooh, that's nasty. That is like really freaking nasty in there. That piece appears to be like encased in rubber. But look at the crap in here. I don't know if y'all can see all the stuff falling out of there. But I do have a little bit of this electronic cleaner. Let's see if I can. Looks like rocks or something right there. That's a solid piece of something right there. I need to get out of there. Ooh, that's not good. That's plastic. That's plastic coming out of there. Well, I hope all this goop and stuff was not just holding that together. Because I don't know what all that plastic is that's in there. I can clean all this old grease out of here. And I got some more lubricant, some grease that works really good on windows and window tracks and window parts and stuff. So it'd be good for this. Let's see, I hope I got enough lube in here. Try and save some of that for the other side if I do the other side like this. Okay. Like this. Because that's not rubberized on that side, that's painted. I am so confused now. I'm really confused. I don't know if there's something I'm doing wrong. I don't know if there's something that's wrong with this thing. I just don't know. Am I wiring it wrong? I could be wiring it wrong. But I know those two were together like that. And when I pulled it apart, these two were together on that post. But what if these two should just be together? Because this wire goes up and powers through there. Let's try it and see. I may just wired this thing up wrong. Let me get a pair of pliers. I was looking for this little baby set of pliers. And I'm going to connect these two wires. Maybe they had it wired up wrong. I don't know. The people that he had this at before. Let's put that together. Let's put this together again. So I can simulate the ground on the chassis. What do I get here? Okay, that don't work. Now what's happening? Now I got a negative. That's not hooked up. That's not mounted to that. What in the world? Because I know this is power. That's my power coming from my fuse plug. And that's supposed to be power going. Well, is this grounded out? No, that's grounded out. But that's grounded out too. Okay, now I am really confused. What in the world is going on? Because that's grounded out. Look at that. That's my power coming from my fuse block. And that's grounded out. How can that be? Ah, wait a minute. I wonder if I gotta check. Well, no, but it's doing it on the other side too. Oh, but if this wire was grounded out, that wire over there would be grounded out. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Let me cut this loose. All right. Let's try this. Cut my main power source. Okay. And let me run. Where's that yellow wire at? Will this be enough? This should be plenty. All right, where's my power probe at? I need to check and see if this is grounded out up here. So, why is that grounded out? Power from the window. That's grounded out right there. Why is that grounded out? Is that my problem? Okay, I got a problem somewhere. I got a real deal problem somewhere. Well, I have something grounded to the fuse block. Something is grounded to the fuse block. What did I hook up that grounded to the fuse block? Let me check this out and I'll be back. All right, everybody. This is what I figured out. Number one, they had it wired wrong from the get-go. This power wire should have never went to the back of that housing, because that housing does ground out to this. This power wire should get power directly from this line here. Okay? The problem that ended up happening, which I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and I got aggravated, but when my power from the fuse block came down here and I connected it in here, that's what was grounding the housing out. And that shouldn't be. That's a power lead. That's not a ground source. So when I figured out that this right here, when it was hooked up here, and let me show you. Hang on. Let me hook it back together real quick. All right. So this wire coming from up here, get that pushed back in there. Okay. So this wire coming from my fuse block, okay, it is now hooked to the power wire from the fuse block. You see that green light right there? You see that green light right there? That means it's grounded out. So somewhere in my wiring, I have hooked some power wire somehow to a ground, or I have a chafed wire grounded out somewhere that leads to the fuse block. Because a lot of the way this fuse block is set up, everything that has constant power right now is grounded out because they're all interconnected in the fuse block. So everything that has battery power is grounded out. I am thankful that I found that right now, because if I would have hooked the battery up, if I'd have hooked all the cables up and actually contacted the positive and the positive and the negative and negative, I would have probably fried that whole fuse block. Now the problem is I'm trying to find where that's grounded at. And as y'all have seen in the past 3 episodes, I tried to be meticulous in hooking everything up, and everything is taped together. So now I got to go one by one each circuit and try and figure out where it's grounded at. So I'm not going to do that on video because I don't know how long this is going to take me. It might take me 3 days to figure this out. I don't know. So that's where I'm at. When I come back, I'll show you what I figured out, and we'll proceed from there. So hopefully I can find out what's going on and what I feel like I obviously messed up somewhere, but I got to figure out where I messed up. And if it wouldn't have been for this and me backtracking up that way, I'd have never figured out that the power stuff was grounded out, and that's why these weren't working. So, and I tested the other side. I took the wire loose from the motor and just went power wire to power wire. Basically, it was disconnected up there, and I just fed power to this wire like I did here, and it worked fine. So, I'll be back when I figure this out, hopefully. Thanks again for watching. Okay, here's what I discovered. Thank goodness I discovered it. When I put the headlight switch in, it goes right under here, and I can't see the top of it, but it went right up under there, and there is nothing but metal under there. And from what I can tell, one of these leads on here, where am I? One of these leads on here was touching, and that's what was grounding out the whole fuse block system. So me personally, I am one of those people that believes everything happens for a reason. Now, I got aggravated, I got mad, I got disgusted, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if I wouldn't have had problems with this, and I wouldn't have figured out that the power line coming from the fuse block was grounded out, and I'd have hooked power to that battery, or from the battery to the fuse block, I'd have melted everything in this car and could have set it on fire. So the good Lord was looking out for me, and I'm lucky I found that. So I'm gonna wrap that headlight switch and insulate it, and I'm gonna mount it in the other direction, because I mounted it with the terminals up, not thinking. I thought there was plenty of clearance in there, but there was not, obviously. So I'm gonna wrap that up. I'm gonna mount it the other direction, put it back in, and I don't know if you can see, I got the tack loose. I pulled all the ignition wires loose. I had the high beam switch disconnected. I was going systematically through everything I could think of, and that was luckily only about the fifth or sixth thing that I checked. And I was checking other stuff, and I got to thinking, I got to looking down there, and I could see the very back edge of the switch, and I saw that naked, uninsulated, where I didn't wrap it or anything, and I said, you know what, let me take that headlight switch out and see. So I took the headlight switch out, and lo and behold, that was the problem. It was touching underneath there and shorted out, had grounded out the whole system. So thank goodness. The other thing I have discovered, I don't know, I might have said this in the clip before. Whoever was working on this the last time, they had hooked both of these power, the power from the switch and the power from the fuse box, they had hooked them to the back of the motor up here. Well, this motor does ground out against this frame here. So they had actually hooked this up wrong, and I didn't know, because that's the way it was, and so I don't know. So when I got all that figured out, and I can take this and let me show you. So I can take this puts the two power leads together. There's my power probe down there. Oh. So I ground the chassis out right here, which I got my ground wires hooked up. I got power coming in from up there. So if I put power right here and I run the switch, my motor works over there. I don't know if you can see it. Right here, my motor works. Everything works like it's supposed to. So now I'm going to fix all my stuff. I got to connect the wires back together. You may notice behind me, in all my frustration, and I said this a couple times earlier, I think, I was having problems finding my tools. And in all my frustration, I said, you know what, that's it. I got to clean up. I got to be able to find my stuff and work in a more organized area. So I shut down for a minute and I cleaned, swept, vacuumed, put all my tools up that I had out here. So I'm gonna have to go back and get them back to put this stuff together, but that's fine. I had to get to where I could work. So I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna put all this back together. Excuse me. And when I get all back together and back in place, I'll be back. So thanks again for watching my lack of knowledge, I guess, or my being a dummy. Sometimes. But all I can say is the Lord was watching out for me, because I could have burned this thing to the ground. So I'll be right back. All right, everybody. It's all done up. I'll fix a holder for the switches when I get to that point of making the door panel and stuff. But everything's wired up, wired in. Everything is safe and secure. There's nothing grounded that shouldn't be grounded. So I think pretty much everything is done. I think, let me grab this light real quick. What's up, Steve-O? You finished this video. Everything is done. I got the positive negative cables run to the front. Everything's hooked up here. I got the starter mounted under there, and that cable right there, I have to cut and put an end on it that goes on the starter. And I'll need to run two probably ground wires, one to the body and one down through to the chassis, just to make sure I got good grounds everywhere. So for that much of it, I'm going to call the wiring finished, which I can't believe. You believe that, Steve? I got the wiring finished? It's amazing.
No. Not by your frustration on the previous videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, and I had massive problems on this one, and you'll get to see that too. So, but anyway, that's we're gonna call it the end of this video. I'm gonna go visit with my buddy. And so until next time, hey guys, keep your head up. Don't look down yourself, don't look down on others. Get out there and work on these old rides. Save a part of history. So until next time, see ya.